About 5 years ago, I had to train this fighter, and basically, he was referred to me by a promoter because he got asked to leave another gym that he was at, and he had a title fight coming up. And 5 years ago, I was training one of my fighters, Evander, but he never had any title fight offered before. And at that time, my gym never had my gym never won a title fight yet. So, oh shit! I just moved my camera back, and so it was like I thought to myself, whoa, exciting time. Here's my chance to show to the world or show to the local MMA community what I can do. And it was the biggest mistake ever. Basically, he was a vampire. He came to my gym in November, and his title fight was January. But the guy was very undisciplined, really out of shape, really not focused, and on top of that, his skills were very lacking. And basically, the promoter was setting me up to be a punching bag for his opponent. His opponent was a local boy, and who sold a lot of tickets. So it was just a disaster. Basically, he didn't have a car, the guy that was training, so I had to drive and pick him up and drop him off. And on top of that, he was so undisciplined. He didn't have a job, was living couch surfing on his friend's couch, and he lived really close to a school that had a playground and swing set and stuff like that. And he wouldn't even go and work out in the playground or jog. He wouldn't do anything on his own. On top of that, he was really out of shape. Like, he couldn't even do push-up or sit-up or anything like that. But in his mind, he thought he was so tough, And I think the reality is, you got to overcome little obstacle before you can overcome big obstacle. And so I'm watching a lot of, especially young Democrats, who think they can change the world. They want to tax people a lot of money or redistribute the wealth. But the problem is they never went out and earned a single dime on their own. They never started a business on their own, And so, going back to my story here, this guy was so undisciplined. So anyways, on the day of the fight in January, so I got to training for about 2 months, and it was a total disaster. One day in a grappling, when he was grappling with Evander threw him, and his back just gave out. That's how bad it was. He was so out of shape that Evander lightly threw him, and his back gave out, and he couldn't even train for a whole week. He would do combos, and he would be so tired all the time, and I couldn't even push him hard for the combos. Anyways, he was the main event, and the fight happened, and literally he got knocked out in 30 seconds. The guy just barely touched him, and he just mentally broke down and stopped, But a couple of things that were telltale signs of his weakness was that on the day of the fight, he walked around and he told everyone that he was the main event, and he was shaking everyone's hand. He wouldn't even be in the back room. Like, he was more excited about telling everyone that he was the main event. You know what I mean? So what I'm talking about, he was more excited about the event versus the process. The process is putting your time in, getting your weight down, training hard, So he was more concerned about that. So it's just a major disaster. So, the reason why I'm telling the story now was about 5 days ago, Facebook event history popped up with a picture of him, and I thought to myself, holy shit, what a disaster, right? So 5 years ago, he basically sucked everything I had. He didn't pay me. He got some sponsorship money, so he gave me some sponsorship money. But the amount of time I invested in him was a fucking waste of time, like literally waste of time. He wasted my family time. My daughter was really upset because during Christmas break and Thanksgiving break, I was shuttling him back and forth, and it was just a disaster, disaster. Anyways, there's a Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. And what it means is that you got to focus on the little things. If you want to achieve greatness, you got to get the habit of doing the little things over and over again. Like, if you want to be a world champ, you got to get up every morning and go to the gym. You can't just beat your chest and dream about it. You can't just buy this DVD, that DVD. You can't, think, oh, I'm going to hire this coach to train me and then I'm going to be a world champ. You got to do the little things. And if you do the little things, the bigger things will come into your being, right? Like if you train your ass off and you have potential, but you didn't have the right coaching, and then you go to a tournament, you lost, but the coach heard that you train your ass off and you just didn't have the right coaching, he might invite you to come and train with him, or he might personally go down and train you or take you under his wings. So these are things that I'm talking about where you got to take care of the little things. And too often we want the big things without the taking care of the little things. Whenever I look at my life and I notice that I'm not where I need to be financially or with my school or whatever, I realize I did not take care of the little things that I need to take care of. Like grind it out to the point where you're about to collapse and fall over. Your first victory is within yourself. How much are you willing to push yourself? How much are you willing to sacrifice and go for it? I think too often people are afraid to push because they're afraid of failures. They rather fail spectacularly on that day, and then they tell people, well, I failed because my opponent was better than me. Well, you failed because you failed to do all these other things. And so I look back at some of my victories and my defeat, and I realized that some of my defeat was because my opponents were better than me. There's nothing I could do about it. But some of my defeat was because I could have done things better, and I could have pushed myself harder. Anyways, guys, I apologize for just kind of ranting a little bit. I'm kind of hungry, and I had a late start in my day.